Well, what do we have here? We've got 4 MacBooks, 3 of them are MacBook Airs, M1 16 gigabytes, M2 base model 8 gigabytes, M2 upgraded model 24 gigabytes, and I threw in the MacBook Pro for comparison. This is the base model 14-inch MacBook Pro with 16 gigs of RAM. All right, what are we doing? Android. We're gonna first build a project in Android Studio. So I'm gonna pop open Android Studio here, and it's called Focus Android. What is Focus Android? Here it is, Mozilla Mobile. So this is basically Firefox for Android. Updated 3 hours ago. This is a pretty recent project. You can go on GitHub and download this yourself if you want to and build it yourself and have fun with it. They even show you how to do it. Simple. Now, what I'm gonna do is clone this repository to all these machines. I want a fresh, clean install with no Gradle build, just so that we can see everything working. So I'll create an Android folder and do git clone. There it is. It's not that big a project. Okay, I've matched all these machines. That's the least fun part of this. Now I've downloaded and cloned the repository for Focus Android, and I've opened up Android Studio on all these machines. Same version of Android Studio, and this is Chipmunk 2021.2.1 patch 1. Let's open up the project, and that's gonna be code Android, Focus Android. I wanna get these open as close to each other as possible so we can kind of see how long it takes to open a project of this size and do all the initial Gradle builds. Open, 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 open. Okay, here we go. Now I know that was not at the same time. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell, but maybe one of them will be a clear winner. We'll see. So right now they're doing the Gradle configured project, running tests, running scripts, downloading stuff. There's gonna be some competition for network resources here because they do have to download some things. And that's why I'm not taking this particular test that seriously, because all the other tests are really serious. What's interesting is the M1 is done, but I did get a message from the M1 machine for some reason. I don't know why. A more recent version of Java runtime. This is probably an important piece of information that I should display what version of Java I'm using. So I'm currently using this version of Java, which is the exact same version on all 4 of these machines. It's OpenJDK 11.0.15. Yeah, they're all in the same version of Java. So I don't know why this particular machine is complaining, but we'll continue. All right, all these other ones finished pretty much at the same time. Let's pop open the terminal and we'll do the build. The command for that is gradlew or gradlew clean app assemble focus debug. And you know what? I'll just add a time command in the beginning so we can get a nice concise little printout at the end. All right, how are we gonna do this? Unfortunately, the Schwarzenegger only has 3 fingers, so I'm gonna have to use a 4th, which is my own. Gonna need an upgrade to this thing. Okay, just gotta carefully position this over the return key, and let's go. Oh, I missed one. That's okay. That's what the time command is for. I need to upgrade the Schwarzenegger. Who's with me? Is anybody out there a mechanical engineer that can make automated fingers? Find the return key themselves? Computer vision? Pneumatic pump to press the finger? Anybody? If Mark Rober is watching this, I need help. So I kind of expected the M2s to be faster than the M1, but I did not expect them to be faster than the MacBook Pro M1 Pro. Why? Well, because while they have 8 cores each, the M1 Pro has 6 performance cores and 2 efficiency cores, while the M2 MacBook Airs have 4 performance and 4 efficiency cores each. So here are the results. MacBook Air M1 got 1 minute 42 seconds. Both MacBook Air M2s got 1 minute and 4 seconds. So they did the same. Pretty good. By the way, that was the reported time by the actual build. My time command gave a slight advantage to the upgraded model with 1 minute 4 seconds 0.72, and this one got 1 minute 5 seconds 0.34, but close. If you're paying $1,000 more, you'd want a slightly bigger difference, right? And the MacBook Pro got 1 minute 7 seconds. So quite a bit slower on the MacBook Pro, unexpected. Let's pop open an Android emulator and see how this changes the results. Now I'm gonna do this build one more time, but this time it's gonna run the clean command. However, there is a cache that exists. It's not gonna rebuild certain parts, and therefore it's gonna be much faster. So let's do that build and see how long this part takes, because this is the part that you'll most likely encounter when constantly building something like this as you're working throughout the day. Well, that's unexpected. The M1 MacBook Air got 35 seconds, the M2 base model 38 seconds, M2 upgraded model 33, and 36 for the MacBook Pro. Now that we have some times, let's close this project down, and I want to open up the Android emulator on each one of these to see how that will affect performance in a build. So virtual device manager, I'm going to do a cold boot and open up the emulator on all these. Sometimes the emulator is not behaving, is what I've noticed. Now the MacBook Pro has not given me too many problems with the emulator, but the two MacBook Airs have. And I'm not sure what causes that, but the emulator doesn't seem to work very well, especially on the base model MacBook Air. And I have reinstalled the emulator a couple of times. I cold booted it, I deleted the cache. Yeah, I'm just getting a black screen over here on these two machines, the MacBook Air M2s. All right, so I've created a new device here on all three of these machines. Everything now matches a Pixel 4 API 31 for ARM, okay? Let's start it up and see what happens. I hope this works. Cold boot now. And we have a background. Okay, good. They're all working now. I found a device that actually works. So I was having problem with the Pixel 3 API 33 for all those nerds that care about that kind of thing. API 31 seems to be a little bit more stable. I hope so. Let's start YouTube on the emulator just so that we have something going on inside the emulator to simulate maybe running an app. Okay, seems to be running. Now, what I want to do is before I do the next build, I want to see what's going on behind the scenes. So I'm going to pop open Activity Monitor and have a look inside. This is going to show us some interesting stuff. Now, for now, I have not noticed any lag or delay in usability of any one of these machines. But if you take a look at the memory tab here, not the CPU tab, but the memory tab, that's where you might expose a few issues that might bother you going forward. So let's have a look at the MacBook Pro. We've got 16 gigabytes there, memory used 12 gigabytes, 0 swap used. So swap used, it's good to have as little as possible there, and 0 is great. Same thing going on with the M2 MacBook Air that's upgraded, 0 bytes used. And same thing going on with the M1 MacBook Air with 16 gigabytes on board, 0 swap. However, this one, the base model M2 MacBook Air, is showing memory pressure in the orange, and swap used is 2.24 gigs. So we might see some performance degradation because of that. So we're talking about just having Android Studio open and just having an emulator open. So if you're a mobile developer and you're doing cross-platform builds, if you have two emulators open or maybe an iOS simulator with the emulator, then you might see some slowdowns. And then if you build some code, who knows what might happen? Well, we're gonna find out right now. We have our base times. They're all doing pretty well when it's just building the code, but let's see what happens when you have some other things open and swap is being used. So I'll pop open that project again. Maybe second time is my lucky time. Let's try this again, Schwarzenegger. All right, I'm positioned, let's go. I think I might have started one of them sooner than the other ones, but at least they're all running now. Okay. Well, I think we have a clear winner and a clear loser, and they're both M2s, M2 MacBook Airs. Now, the winner is not by much, right? We got 30 seconds for the winner. It's got 24 gigs of RAM, more RAM than all these machines. And it costs a pretty penny. For that money, you can buy the MacBook Pro. But it is a little bit faster than the MacBook Pro. That one finished in 39 seconds. The MacBook Air M1 finished this in 37 seconds, faster than the MacBook Pro. However, the base model M2 MacBook Air, 1 minute, 12 seconds. All right, folks, if this was useful or entertaining, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And there's also a join button there if you want to become a member and help this channel out. Help me continue doing all these tests and getting these machines in here for testing. Thanks to all existing members and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.